Alright everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this particular video, I'm going to show you how to create this particular KPI card using this very simple data right on your screen. So all you have to do is to grab the data, load it to Power BI, and let me show you how to actually get it done. So over here on this particular KPI card, we have a slicer at the top. So if you select any month right here, it updates the KPI card for you. So over here, we're looking at the current month, which is the month we have selected from our slicer. And over here, we have the month-over-month change. And this is something very beautiful that you need to know how to create. So right here on this particular progress bar, we're looking at if we are above or below the target. And right here on this particular percentage, it's showing us the percentage we have used to go above the target or below the target. So what about the line chart here? This line chart here has to do with the sales and the target set for, on a monthly basis. So we can now see this particular dotted part of it has to do with the month we went above our target and what percentage have we used to go above the target. Isn't this very simple? Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to actually create all of this. So what about we switch into the weekly basis, revenue? Once we are here, we can look at the minimum sales and the maximum sales week right here. Is something very simple that you need to know how to create. So what are you waiting for? Welcome to Data Decision. So let us go to Power BI and let's see what we can do. In this particular class, we're going to be using a very simple data set. So which is this particular 3 columns: data, date, sales amount, and as well daily target. So aside this, we're going to be building a calendar table, which I have already done. So if you look at it right now, it's a very simple code. You can copy exactly what I have right here to have yours, created, right? So after we have done this, the next thing that is very important is for you to make sure you sort your columns. So click or highlight the month column here, go to sort by column and make sure you sort by month number, and do the same thing to the weekday right here, and you sort this by the week number right in here. So once you're done with this, let's go back here. Okay, now we're on the report view where we have to create our visual. The very first thing we have to do is to create a line chart. So with our line chart here, just make it bigger for the time being. So right now we need to get in 2 different measures. So going over here right now, as you can see, we have daily target as an implicit measure and we have sales amount as an implicit measure. Because implicit measure cannot be reused, so we have to create this particular measure that helps us to summarize the sales amount just using simple sum function. And we did the same thing to the target right here. So we just use the same sum function to actually summarize the target column. You get this right now. So we're going to be getting those particular 2 measures inside our, line chart. So once I've gotten this right now, the next thing we have to do right away is to go over to a calendar and bring in the month here. So with the month right now, as you can see, it starts from January down to what? To December. This looks cool already, but it's not going to give us what we want because we're creating a KPI. We don't want too much, text on it. We just want to make it or keep it simple. So what do? We change this particular month in text to month number. So what if we go over here and click on month number? So it's going through to the wrong part. Let's quickly fix it. So right now, as you can see here, we go. So now it's on the y-axis. Let us move it to the x. But still, things is not really looking very good at all. So what do and how do we fix this? So the month is starting from month 1, but the month 1 is not showing up. We want every single month to show up as a number. So what do we do to fix this? Let us go back to our calendar table. So once we are here, put a comma at the end of this. So shift enter. So we have to create a new column. So call months 2. So we already have a month that we use format to retrieve the text right in here. But this one right now, we're going to do the same exact thing. So comma here, format, so square, then this particular date. So you put a comma here. Instead of us to use the 3 M's we have used here, we just use a single M. So we close and we do this, then hit the enter key. So now we have the second month number right in here. So if you look at it right now, the number is floating to the left-hand corner. That shows that it's a text. Yes, of course. So what do? We go over here now. And what do we do here? We just click on this path and change to month 2. So does it give us what we want now? Almost. So what is the problem? The problem here is that it's starting from month 7 and it ends on this particular second month of the year. So how do we fix this? Let's quickly go back here right now. So select this particular month 2 and go over to sort and sort by month number. So when we get back here right now, it should work, but it's not working. What can we do? So go ahead and remove it. So click back again, then go over to calendar, month 2. So now it has been fixed for you. So what about this? This is the first thing you need to do. Can you see it now? So let us quickly click over to format and make a little change. You can click over here, and for the title, we don't want the title. We're gonna bring the title later after all. So for the legend, we want to format the legend. So let us click on more. So now we have this. We go to the legend here. We take off the title of the legend. So once we have done that now, the next thing we have to do is to go for the y-axis, and we turn off the title and as well the values. So let's go to the X and turn off the title for the X. So just title. So as for the value, we're gonna leave it the way it is, but increase it a little bit. So mine is using 13, and this is cool for me. This is the first thing you need to do to develop the KPI you have just seen in the introductory part of this particular video. This line chart here is not enough for we to actually tell the end users if we have met the target or not. So all we have to do right now is to actually mark the areas where we have actually gone beyond the target. And it's something very simple. We're going to be using visual calculation to actually have that done. So what about that? Let's see how that goes. To highlight where we have met our target, all you have to do is to click on the visual itself. Remember, we're going to be using visual calculation. It is very easy. So let's go over to the build. Once we are here, we have, on the y-axis, we have 2 measures. So let us add another measure here. So we're going to create our measure from the scratch by clicking on the visual calculation. So once we are here, we have this particular template. Click on the FX. You have lots of templates you can actually use from here, but we're not going to use any of this. So what we need to do right now is just to some kind of choose to create our own from the scratch. So over here, I'm going to just call this one target met. So with target met right now, what I need to do is just to actually say if sales is greater than target, then give me yes. So just close and see what you have. Can you see it now? So we have yes at where we have our sales to go above the target, but what we want to return is not actually yes. So how do we go ahead and re-edit this? So just go over to this particular pencil icon here, then take off the yes, and let us bring in sales. So close, and once we hit our enter key, we have this. So we can now see the appearance of what we have done here. Can you see it now? And all over here, and as well this particular path. So how do we control this? Let us quickly go ahead and turn on the format area. So the first thing we have to go and do is just to go to the line. So from line, we scroll all the way down. So select this particular target met and turn it off. So it's gone. That is beautiful. So let us scroll all the way down to the markers. So once we're on the markers, we just have to select the target met here. Make sure what you have here is target met and turn it on. So now we have markers at where we have met our target and beyond. So the next thing we have to do is to increase this to like maybe, let us use something like 8 or 9. So we're going to use 8 in this case, right? So we need to decide on which color we want to use for our dashboard. So in my own case, I'm going to click on the color area here. So let us click on this particular color. Now go over here and you choose from this particular color here. So I'm going to select a very calm cool color. Select from here. So now you can copy the color code, or you can decide to use my own color code, 52, 151, and 150, the red, green, and blue, right? So once we have done this now, we have to update our line. Let's go all the way to the top here. So under the line here, make sure you open it up. So once you have the line open, the next thing you have to do is to scroll the way down and select total sales. The sales is selected, so go to the color and choose the same color here. So now we have uniform color for them. So under this particular linear, select the smooth line. I love this a lot. So I'm going to select the smooth line for the target as well. It's beautiful. This is very interesting. The next thing we have to do now is to look at how can we show the data label. It's something very important. We need to show that. So what do you think we can do to actually show that up right now? Because it's something that we need to show. So having this particular dots alone is not really making any damn sense. So what can we do to actually highlight that particular part where we have met the target and above? So let's find out. So what I'm going to do right now is to go back to the build. And right now we're going to click on add again. So visual calculation, here we go. So let us call this one PCT for percentage above target. So equals. So over here now, to calculate that is something very simple. You must have known how to actually find percentages. So how do you do that? Just use the divide function, or you can use the operator. It depends on how you really want it. So I'm going to just say this one here, divide. So we're going to first of all take the sales and we subtract the target from it. Then we divide it by what? By the target. So now, once we have done that, we go ahead and close and we hit our enter key. So if you look at it right now, it has actually some kind of adjusted the line for us, and it has underlined again. This is not looking perfect at all because we are calculating for every places where we actually have the where we have blanks, and we are supposed to be calculating for only the places where there are values under the target met. So this is the work of the if function. The if function can actually help us to actually control this and give us exactly what we want. So how do we go about that? Click on the pencil icon here and let's quickly go over to the top. Now we just use the if function. So if and the not is blank right here. So what are we checking if it is not blank or what? So we're going to just check the target met. So we close twice. So put a comma on it. So if it is not blank, go ahead and run this particular code. Right? So what I need to do now is just to highlight my tab key to indent it. So if it is not blank, run that code. Otherwise, if it is blank, just give me blank. So right now, it has been fixed. So you can now see we have blanks at where we have our target meant blank. And that has actually still some kind of gave us some weird part of it right in here. So what do we do now to get this off? So our aim is to actually use this for showing the percentages at where we have these markers writing. But right now with what I'm saying, this is not going to be possible. So let's try if this is going to be possible. So the very first thing I need to do now, so we can decide to say we don't want to actually see these particular lines we have right in here. And how do we do that? We disable the eye icon that we have right here. Let's try it. So if I click on it, it's gone, right? So now using this now wouldn't make any sense. Let's try it. So go over to the format area here. Scroll down to the label, data label here. So once you've done this now, it's going to turn on for every part of it. So what we need to do right now is to open it up Then you scroll all the way down, and over here you turn off for targets, right? So turn off for sales. And what you have is target met. You only have for target met. So the question is this: we want to actually make sure this is actually showing up for the percentage. So the percentage is not showing up right here. So what can we do? That is where the questions start popping in. What can we do? So there is nothing we can do right here. So if we go back to this particular part now, and we decide to show this up, so we can now come over to the data label. We can now see this one here. Now the value is turned on, but it's giving us 0k. Can you see that? Over here, 0k, 0k in 1000. This is awkward. This is not really cool at all. So what can we do to make it look better? So which means we are handicapped right here. We cannot use visual calculation to get it done. This is where we have limitation. So which means we have to go through the right way to get it done. So what we need to do right now is just to go over, turn off this one. Let's quickly go over here and have this one hidden. There is no use for it at all. So now we have to resort back to writing our own measure, custom measure outside the visual calculation to get it done. So are you ready for that? As you can see, the visual calculation still has some couple of limitations. But if you think you can do it with visual calculation, please go ahead and do that and share it with me. I'll be very happy to learn. So right here, we have to go and write a measure that will definitely do this for us. It's something very simple. We just need to write a measure and tell the measure what we want. And we can use the measure over this particular chart to highlight this particular dotted part where we have gone beyond the target. So let us get into the class. So now let us copy this particular percentage above target here. We're going to need it. So I'm going to just Control A, Control C to copy, and cancel to step off, and just have to be like this. All right. So what we need to do right now is to create a new measure under our sales data. So new measure. So paste this one over here. Now, if you look at it, the target met is not actually found. This is where the issues start, setting in. So what we need to do now is just to go over here and create a variable. So this variable now will help us to store in our sales. So it's a measure coming from outside. So sales. I'm going to create another measure again. So this one will be target. Target. So we start in our target in here. So once we have done this now, we have to create another variable. So what will this variable do? This variable will be called target met. Okay, so how do we determine if target is being met or not? So we can actually use the if function. If over here, we did the same thing when we did our visual calculation. So what we can do now is just to say if sales is greater than targets. So what I want you to give to me is the sales. Otherwise, do nothing. So now, instead of us to actually use this particular one that is giving us an error here, we can pass in, yes, of course. We should be able to pass in. Let me control it to bring it back to normal. Okay, this is what we have with errors. So the next I'm going to do right now is just to do return over here. We can return this. We'll return this. So for some kind of perfect indentation, I do this now. Now, when I return this right now, this error is still showing up. So remove it and bring in the target met. Now remember, this target met we have right here has to do with this particular variable. right? We have gotten this right. This is what we need to actually get done. So let us go ahead and hit our enter key and see what this will give to us. So where do we use this? We have to use it over here and replace it with this particular values we have on the markers. Let's go over to this particular part, and now we scroll down to our data label. Open it up. We just have to scroll down until we see that over here, what is selected is actually the sales, right? I think, not the targets. What is selected is this target. Okay, target met is what we need. Yes, target met. So once we have the target met here, we scroll all the way down, go to the value area. Now over here now, we are going to bring in this. All right. If you look at what is going on now, it does not really make any sense. It's giving us 0K. That was because we've not formatted this as a percentage. So we can go ahead and format this as a percentage. So formatting this as a percentage does not really help any matter at all. It doesn't really work. So what can we do? It's a big issue, right? Okay, it's not complex. Let's go back to our measure. Once we are here, right now, so we have to quickly format this. And what we can do right now, in my own case, I can actually go ahead and cut this away from here, Ctrl X. And over here, we just have nothing but blank. Don't worry if you have this error as well. It's not a problem. So we're going to go above right here and we create a new variable here. So underscore PCT, that is what I'm going to just name this, equals, and shift enter. So we just paste this one outside here. Can you see it now? So we have this one outside here right now. So what we can do now is to actually format this particular value inside here. We're going to reuse the PCT. So to get this done now is just for me to say over here, format, right? So we are formatting what? We're formatting underscore PCT. So put a comma here, inside double quotes, you do plus. So for where we have growth, we want to have plus. So we do plus 0.0%. So we are looking forward to growth. But if you're going to be having some kind of negative values, what you need to do now is to use semicolon here, and you put a space under 0. So this one will be minus 0.0% again, and under semicolon again. Here, this one will be 0.0% without any positive or negative sign. So you just go ahead and close this. Let us hit the enter key and let's see what we're going to have. So now let's go back. So if you look at it right now, we have plus whatever percentage we have actually used to go above the target. Can you see it right here? So what is important for you to understand this particular code we have right here? It's something very simple. We copied some of them from the visual calculation. Okay. Over here, what we have done is actually storing the sales value and as well the target value that we have. So once we have actually gotten this particular two measures stored in here, we now went ahead and created this particular target met. So we're trying to use this particular two measures above here to find out if the target is met. If it is met, return the sales. If it is not, give us blank. Can you see that now? So we now actually came over here and created the percentage, the actual percentage you're trying to show. So now the percentage is not going to look very fine, no matter how we try to format it. We just have to make sure we do our own personal formatting. This same percentage we have right in here right now is what we have actually formatted here using this particular PCT with the format function. And this is our formatting, trick. You get it right now? But first of all, this particular if here has already checked this particular target met, which is this particular one here, and make sure it is not actually with values. sorry, yeah, and it's only going to affect where it is, where it has values. It is not blank. So if it is blank, give us blank. If it has values, format the values. And that was how we got to have this accurately. Can you see it now? But when you actually use the tooltip does not show the actual percentage. It's showing you repetition of the sales as the target met. It's not a problem. It's okay. This is exactly what we actually want to create. Can you see it right now? We have actually highlighted where we have met our target. So now, thing is this. We don't want to make sure the target is on focus. We just want to make sure the target is not the main thing we are looking at. So what can we do? So you can go to the line. So once you're on the line here, open up the line and now select target. It's selected. So let's go straight up to the color area here and let us choose this particular color. Yeah, something more brighter would look okay. No, not too bright. Let's go with this one. Then once we have gotten this one now, I'm gonna go over to here, reduce the weight to 2, and we choose the dotted. So let's go out of focus. So we just have to change the color to make sure it's a bit brighter. So we can keep it at 3. Okay, nicely done. Can you see now? The target is not on focus. We keep our sales on focus and we can now see where we went above the sales. So right now what we need to do is just to make sure we crank up the value of our target a little bit, or the target met a little bit. It's something very simple. So if you have a lot opened, just collapse it and bring it back again. So now go to our data label here. So once you scroll down, you go to the value area, you scroll the way down, you can now increase this. So it's popping out a lot. This is what we want. So very simple. If you look at our data contains just 2025. Let's go over to the calendar. On the calendar, we have the year, and the year has just 2025. So we need to get a title. We don't need to make the title dynamic. It can be static. So what we can do right now is to go over to title at the top here, and we just do so you can increase it and make sure the color is not that bright, not that dark. Let's keep it at this. Creating this particular chart right on my screen is something very simple, but the most complex part of this is when it is time for you to highlight the max and the min. Right now, we're going to be doing this with the visual calculation. It's something very simple. Let me show you how to achieve this. So now, let us create this particular closed start column chart. Bring this over here. So for the time being, let's do it this way. Okay, we're going to go over to here and we'll bring in the total sales, open up the calendar and bring in the weekday. Our aim here is just to highlight the minimum and the maximum sales on the weekday here. So the easiest way to get that done now is to go quickly over to this path and scroll all the way down until you see this particular tooltip. Then click over the visual calculation. So we don't have to use the template that we are provided with. We can quickly go ahead and call this one highlight. So for the highlight now, we're going to use the if function here to ask if any of these particular weekdays here has to do with the max value. So you have to start thinking, what function does the work of iteration, like scan through your table on behalf of you at the main table? So what can we use? The max x is an iterator, max x. So now, if you look at what the max x is looking for right now, is a table. So we're going to say, okay, go ahead and do it row by row. So we use the rows function over here. I'm going to explain this back to you. Then we'll put a comma here. And the next thing we're going to do right now is asking for the expression. The expression is actually the sales. So once we have given it this, we can just go ahead and close. So hitting our enter key right now will give us an error. So once you have an error like this, what do you start thinking? Be like, oh, what is going on? Don't worry. Don't get panicked. Just go ahead and click on the pencil icon. And we're back here. So our aim is to say, if this is equals to the main sales, then I want you to give me maybe green. Then you close this. Otherwise, it does do nothing. So if I hit my enter key right now, it's okay. As you can see, we have the green right here. So the next thing now is we don't have to reinvent the wheel again. We can copy this and we add on that one. We add on that column. So paste this over here and we call it 2. Then over here, we just say show red. So this is showing in the same place. That was because we've not made all the necessary changes we need to make. So let's go over here and say this one now is the min X, not max. Can you see now? So if I hit my enter key right now, it has changed. So what you can see now is that Thursday is when we have our minimum sales. Can you see it now? So while we have the max sales to fall on Wednesday, do you see how this looks like? Okay, how do we now highlight the chart itself? So let us go with the green part first. So to get this done now, quickly come over to your format area, go to properties and click over to data format and click on the highlights you have actually created for green. And over here, you choose the text. That is what you can do. So once you've done that, switch back to visual and let's quickly go back to column here. Under column, we can just quickly go over to the FX and make sure we are using field value. And over here, we just choose highlight. So if I click on OK right now, it has been highlighted as green for us. But the downside of this is that if we want to highlight the red, it's going to be very, complex to get that done because it's not going to work. So now, as you can see, there is no provision for we to actually format for the second time, except we want to actually change our mind to only highlight the lower, portion of it. Now the question is this: what can you do? It's simple. So there is no need for we to keep the second one. I'm going to just delete it. So I only have one highlight. So this one highlight now should be, changed. So what can we do? Instead of us to use if, we can use the switch function. So how do we do that? I'm just going to copy this particular part and exclude, I'm going to exclude the if from here. So now let's go with a switch that has true. Put a comma here. So paste this one over here. So once you have this over here now, I'm going to be having green and red and one other funny color. Later, after all, we can actually come up with the kind of color we want to actually use. So let's say we have this now. So what this is saying now is that switch and check if this belongs to the max, give me green. So if I put my comma here now, do I have to do that? No. Take off this and put a comma. So now the next one again, you paste it again in. So once you paste this one in, take off this one. So what can we do over here? So what we're going to do right now is just to actually say this one is for the mean value. So find the mean. Then for the mean, you give me red. Red. Comma again. Otherwise, if any of these did not work, just go ahead and give me maybe gray. Can you see it now? So now you close for the switch function. Can you see? So let's just hit the enter key and see what we have. Now this is what it is that we have. But to me, it's not making any sense. It works quite okay, but the colors are too not, too much. The red is too bright, the green too greenish. I just want to make sure I change this. So how do we get this done? Let's just switch away from here now. So what we can do now is just to go over to my card. I'm going to get my card here. So once I have my card here, I'm going to put value into this card. Right? Okay, I'm thinking of something now. Okay, yeah, no problem. So now, notepad, I'll put my notepad down. So I'm gonna just do red, green, order. Okay, let's do it. So over here, I'm gonna click on this, click on the color, choose this particular color here. So this color now is what I'm gonna use. So I can actually make sure I choose the darker version of it. Something like this will be cool. So I'm going to copy the color code. This is for order. Paste it over here. So for my red color now, I'm going to choose the type of red I want. So if I click on this one now, this red looks okay, right? So I can play around with the red if I want. Let us select this particular kind of red. No, it's not going to look good. Let's select this one. Then we're going to choose to get the color code again. So over here, I'm going to paste in for red. So now we're going to select for green. So the green part is going to be over here. So choose your green color. So select and copy this. So done, right? Okay. This one now is just a helper. We don't need it. So we just have to click back on this and let's quickly go back to tooltip and edit. So once we are here now, we have copied for green. There is no need for we to keep this green again. Just paste this over here. See that now? So let's go forward. The red is this one. So for the red, we paste in for the red. Okay. Finally for order, which is this one. We paste this one in. So if I hit my enter key right now, make sure there is no space. Now we have something like this. So what I'm feeling now is that the red here seems not to look very cool, but if you choose to change it, fine. You can do that by just getting on that one. But I just feel like it's okay like this. Yes. So all we have to do quickly is just to change the formatting. So let's go for the y-axis. We turn off the value and as well the title. Then for the x-axis, we turn off the title for the x-axis and we crank up this value a little bit. You see this now? So the next thing we're going to do is just to turn on the data label for it. So we just go ahead and do this. So we have our data label. So we just have to go ahead and make sure we crank it up by going to the value area. We just do something like this. So we're almost there. Can you see what we have done right now? This is exactly what we need to create for the first time before we bring it together to create a KPI. Instead of us to actually use a gauge chart just like this one to show if we are below or above target, let us use this particular kind of chart to show if we are below or above target. It's something very simple to be created. Should you have not actually created this before now, let me show you how easy and simple it is. The very first thing we have to do is to go over to our calendar, and while we are here, just right click on any of the columns and add new column. So with this particular new column here, we're going to call this y-axis. So which is yx, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to just name this one 1 or 0, whatever. So now we just have this column here. Okay. Once we have this now, the next thing we have to do is to go back here. And now we have to choose the kind of chart we're going to use to show the progress bar that we're going to create. So over here, I'm going to select the build visual. And I'm going to go with this particular stacked bar chart. So with my stacked bar chart here, I can just make it this way. And on the y-axis, I'm going to go to my calendar and bring up the y-axis here, which is the y-x, right? So once we have this now, on the x-axis, we're going to have our sales. So open up the sales. Here we go. So we have something that looks like this. All right, so once we have gotten this done, the next thing we have to do now, let me make it much more visible, is for we to go over to here. So now we move down to the error bar. The reference line. So under the reference line, we just scroll the way down. We click on add. So once we added this, we can actually name this reference line to be target. So target. So now over here, constant line. So we have to actually drop something for the constant line under the value area. Click over here now. And let us select here, go to here, and let us bring in our target. So click on OK. So now we have our target here. This is our target. So what do we need next now? The next thing we need to actually have right here is to some kind of, I'm thinking of something. So before we go too far, let's have some kind of, okay, don't worry about it. We're going to do it later. So let's go over here again. Now we have to scroll all the way down and turn the data label. So here we go. We have something like this. So which means we have to format this. Let's scroll down. Open up this one. If we are here, we can decide to say we want it to be at the left or at the right hand corner, whichever way you want it. So let us move it to the left. So, and here you want to show the name or both. So if you show both, you have target and you have the value, right? Let's go to our targets here. And now we're going to format this target. Put 0 over here. Okay, it doesn't seem to work. No problem. We just have to locate where we can solve that situation. So display unit is on auto. We put it on none. No, it doesn't work. So what can we do? What can we do? Let's scroll all the way through. Okay, I think what we need to do is just to come over here where it gives us, value decimal, put 0 over here, and let's see what we have. Now it has actually gotten it off for us. All right, so for this one here, we just want to make sure the color is this very color here. Can you see it now? Okay, or we can keep it something black this way. All right, so once we've done that, we just have to scroll all the way up. So for the line itself, so we can decide to change the color to whatever we want. The same color with my text or my value, target. Okay, maybe you are concerned about this very one. So what you should be concerned about right now is how to remove this particular, value from here and as well get this one away. So let's do it. So we just have to quickly go over the y-axis and turn off the value. Then we go straight up to the title. We turn it off. The next thing again is just to go over to the X, and under the X, we turn off the title. We turn off the value. So we have something as clean as this. So we have to go back now. Let us agree on the height and the weight we want. I will want something that looks like this. I want it to look much more bold. Then the title should be gone. No title. I have something that looks like this. So I'm going to come over here and go over to size and style. So we turn off the background. So we have something like this. So this is not looking too beautiful yet. So what I'm going to do now is just to go over to this particular month. Bring month, and the month should be as a filter or slicer, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So we have the month now as a slicer over here. If I select my month, it's going to affect this one. So I have to quickly look at how I'm going to control it. So let us take this one here, bring it down, and now select the month slicer, go over to format and click on interactions, edit interaction. Now select it from this one. Click back on this one to deactivate it. So now it's not affecting it. So it's not, we don't want it to affect this particular one. We want to keep it at this. So if you look at what is going on now, every single time I do this, it's not showing up as a progress bar. It's not really cool at all. So what can we do? I want something to be here. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly go ahead and convert my background to be dark background. So I'm going to select black and bring this over here. Okay, so once I have this now, I have to change my color over here for the time being. Okay, I'm going to deselect everything. I don't want to select anything now. So we have this. Once I have this now, I'm going to go for my text, which is going to be under the reference, the reference line. We scroll down, we locate the text. I think this is the line. We go for the text for the value. Data label, okay? I think it's under data label. So we select this. It's popped now. For the time being as well, we have to go ahead and change this one to the same color. Okay? Once we have done this and we are cool with this, Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V to paste. So for this particular one now, we're going to turn off the reference. So turn off the reference line. So you go ahead and remove it. So there is nothing on it. So we have this. Okay. What I'm going to do right now, this is temporary. Once we brought in the color we want to use, we can decide to change our mind. So we're going to go for the bars. And over here, we select the color. Let's go with this particular color for the time being. We select something more like this one. Okay. So once we have this now, the next thing I'm going to do is to hold my Control key and select both of them. And now I'm going to go over to format and I'm going to go over to align. So we're going to align center and align middle, right? So once we have done this now, the next thing I'm going to do is just to bring up this particular selection over here. So we're going to click on this one and move it up. So now it appears, right? We can go ahead and deselect this, hide this one. So if I select something like this now, can you see now? So whenever it's above, this is what you see. Here we go. Can you see? But if you look at it, it's not making any damn sense yet. So what I'm going to do right now is just to highlight this environment here and some kind of group them together. Right click and go to group. No. Why is this? Okay, yeah, here's the group. Click on group. So it has been grouped for me. And this is the group over here. If I turn off the group right now, everything will be hidden. So now here we go. Okay. But if you check it again now, you can see it's still moving. This is moving. So what I'm going to do now is just to go over to this here and let us open up the group. So once we have the group opened, I'm going to just go ahead and have this one hidden. So I'm only seeing this particular one right now. So make sure you actually click on it to have it selected here. So go over to size and style. So once you're on size and style, click on the X and for this one, just turn this one to 0. That is all we need to do. So once you've done that, click on this one here and let us have everything hidden for we to see the results that we have gotten. So now when I filter through, can you see? The only one that is moving right now is the colored one. Can you see it now? This is what you can actually do to have something like this created. So for this particular colored one, let us double click on it again and make sure over the x-axis here, from the min should be 0 as well. So it's very important. So to set it at that. So you can now see the performance. So this is something very important. Can you see it now? So whenever we are above the this thing above the target. This is what we have. If we are below the target, you're going to say this over here. This very chart wouldn't be perfect without a dynamic conditional formatting. So over here, we have to set the color that shows that we have met the target, almost, or above the target. So it's something very simple and easy. It's going to be a little bit epic though. If you pay attention, you would definitely learn something new from here that you can actually apply on your own personal project. So let's get into it. Let us create a measure for it. So right click here and create a new measure. So this measure now is going to be called CF for conditional formatting, and it's going to be for targets. So we're going to have lots of them, so I have to just keep it at this. So I just have to move this one away. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. CF. Okay, so quickly what we need to do right now is to create some variables. So variable underscore sales. So bring in the sales. So under variable underscore target. So I bring in the targets. Okay, so the next variable right now should be variable percentage achieved. So PCT achieved, it's going to be equals. So now let us use the if function here. So we're going to ask if the targets. So the target underscore target here is equals 0, then give us blank. If it is not equal 0, then go ahead and just do the division between underscore targets, sales by underscore target. You can use the main divide function over here if you want to do that. So this is something we call operator. We call this one operator. So if you want to use a divide function now, we would have done this divide, and over here we don't need to use the operator again, so we can actually use comma over here. So can you see how simple it is? This is all you need. Okay, so once we have done this right now, this is going to be some kind of industry specific. The industry will now tell you that I want to actually have, green, red, orange, whatever, maybe 3 to 4 colors or just 2 colors. Keep it at positive and negative, right? So this is going to be industry specific. So over here, what we need to do is just to do return. So I have to close for my if. So now we do return. So under the return now, we're going to use the switch function to get the magic done. Switch through, comma here. So over here now, we're going to say, okay, anything that is actually below 80%. So we want to see red. So how do we do that now? It's simple. So we have our PCT achieved here. We now ask if it is less than 0.80. Then we want to see red. So over here, I wouldn't give it red. You can do that, but I just feel like, what if I use a custom or some kind of hash code? So I'm going to use hash here, FA7F. I think it's 08. Maybe we might get this right or wrong. I don't know. Okay, that is that. The next one again is going to be if anything is actually between between 80% to 100%, then give us green. So how do we do that? Underscore PCT achieved. If it is actually less than 100. 100 should be 1.00. Then let's get the hex code in. The hex code now should be D9857. I think is 16. So otherwise right now we want to set our thing. No, this one should be green. That should be orange. Orange. So otherwise we set this one to set it to green, and the green will actually be 5C BB 5C. So we now close. So this is all we need to do right here to actually have this created. It's something very simple. If you just take your time to go through it, you now see that it's not something complex at all. So the very first thing we have done right here, we stored the target and the sales in here, and we reuse them over here to actually calculate the percentage. So once we have gotten our percentage calculated, we use the percentage over here to set the rule. Like to get, red right now, it must go below, 70% or 80%. This should be 80%, not 70. Here should be 80%. And to get orange now, it should be between 80 to 100%, and anything beyond that should actually give us green. Okay. So let's see how we can use this. Let us quickly go over to this. Remember, you have to come over here. So we're using this one. You can click on it from here. Just select this one. This is going to be selected. Once you've done that now, we have to scroll all the way down until we see our bars. And we are here, the FX. Then we select the feed value. Over here we go CF. So this works. It's giving us green. Okay. So we can now go ahead and show this up. Let us have everything hidden. Now we can use our slicer. Can you see now? Can you see what we have? Because it's not up to what we specified here to see green, we have this over here. Do you now see what we have right away? So when we see green, that means we have actually gone above the target. This is exactly what you need to understand. Using this particular chart to tell us if we have met our target or we have not is not really enough. We need to actually bring out a percentage that shows that we are below or above by a certain percentage. And that is what we're going to be doing right now. So we're going to be setting a conditional formatting that as well tells the end users if we are above or below the target. So how do we actually get this done? It's just a simple maths. Let's see how we can achieve just this. So now we need 2 KPI cards. So let me just give you the first KPI cards we're going to actually, create. So right click and add visual. Then from here, click on this and let's go to sales. Now we can bring in our sales. So here we go. Here's our first KPI card. Now, if we don't want to show it this way, we can come over here now and go over to call out value. And from here, from auto, we choose none. Then we can quickly go ahead and do 35. Then you can see everything here. So the next thing we have to do now is to take off the decimal numbers. Let's go over to this and put 0 over where we have auto. And this will definitely fix everything for us. Here's our first KPI card. The second KPI card we want to have right here is not actually present right now. And that is going to be the difference between the target and the sales itself. So like how many percentage or how much percentage have we used to go above the target itself? So I'm going to take off this and have just nothing but blank right here. So how do we get that created? It's simple. Let's quickly go over to here. So new measure. So on this particular new measure here, what we can do now is going to be variance percentage. Okay. So over here, what we need is just to actually use variable here. I love using variable. Something's very simple. Sometimes I'll use variable. It's just going to make my life so easy. So PCT equals, and to get that done now, you can use the divide function. So what are we doing here? Over here, we're doing sales, subtract from targets, and divide by target. Can you see how easy it is? So once we close now, we have the variance already. So what do? We can now come over here and do return. So you might be thinking, once you know you're going to do something as simple as this, why are you using variable? So variable, sometimes even if I know what I'm doing is easy, I'll use variable because maybe in the next 1 week, I have to make it a little bit complex to get something much more better than what I have. Let us watch it. So now we go over here, click on this, and we can format this to percentage. So this looks better. It's telling us that we have actually went above the target by 21%. So what if I change to a month where we went below? Now it's giving us minus 9%. So we went below the target by 9.6%, approximately 10%. All right. So what if we are above? Now we are above and we want to see plus. This time around, what do you think we can do? So we can come back over to the variance here. Now, this is where this particular variable we have created comes to play, right? So instead of me to return this here, what I will do now is just do some kind of, I'm thinking, okay. We can just go ahead and under this particular part, shift, enter. So we can actually do format here. So what are we formatting? We're formatting the PCT. We already have it in. So inside here, we're going to do plus 0.0. We close, no, we don't close semicolon. So under 1 minus 0.0. So under semicolon again, this one will be 0.0. So we now close and hit our enter key. Let's see what this will give to us. So now, here we go. There is a problem. That was because we omitted all the percentages we should have added to them, right? Let's go back to variance. So over here, we need the percentage. We need the percentage here. We need the percentage over here. If I hit my enter key right now, it should actually give me what I want. So now we have plus 16.3%. Then, if it is on negative, we now have minus 9.7%, approximately 10%. So what about this, right? So now we need to actually make sure there is a conditional formatting on this. So which means this will not look better without conditional formatting. So how can we get that done? So for the conditional formatting, is something very simple. It's just 2 lines of code, or we can make it 1 line of code. So we're going to call this one CF variance. So we just need to do if the variance percentage is greater than 0, then give us 1. Otherwise, give us 0. That is all. Just 1 line of code will do the magic for us. Okay. Once you have done this now, make sure you have this one selected, and let's go over to the format area. Then turn off the title. or the category label. Then go over to this particular part. Now we add one more. We come over here, CF, we pick the one with variance. So we need to add again. So we just do equals. Make sure this one is actually number, not percentage. So 1 over here, and then we add 0 over here. Then we click over here, and where we have 1, we want to see something like green color. So we can choose to use this green. So once we've done that, go over to 0. Let us choose this for the negative value. You see that now? So if I click on OK here, oh, what's going on? Why is it giving me something like this? I don't know. Okay. So what can we do if we have an error like this? Let's just click on this particular see details and let us look at what the error looks like. So the error is something very simple. If you look at it right now, it's talking about text. So text with value, type, integer, consider using what? Using value or format function to convert one of the values. Okay, then what can we do? Let's just close it. Let's go back to the CF we have written. This CF here is actually is using this one. And what is the problem? The problem now was because we cannot actually use this over the if, because right now this is returning percentage. The percentage is not more number, it's a text. Whenever we use the format function automatically convert our number into a text number formatting. So what can we do? We can just copy this particular part right here. This part. Then we create another measure. So we paste this one over here. Instead of percentage, I'll just type in value, right? So I'm not going to use this again. Take it off. So just hit the enter key. So once you have done this now, let us update our variance, and we go over here. Sorry, the CF, conditional formatting for variance. So we're not going to use this one. I'm going to choose the one with value. So if I hit my enter key, it should fix this one for us. Let us try it and see. Can you see what we have now? Stop using static title for your KPI cards and for your charts. Although there are some times you just have to keep it simple and make it static. But right here, we have to make sure we condition what we show on our title. So over here, we have used conditional formatting, but this is still not enough. Why don't we make it very dynamic that shows we are below or above the target? And over here on this particular card, we want to show what month is selected. And if there is no month selected, we want to show total sales. It's something as simple as this. What about this? Let's get into the class. So this already looks good, but the title is important. So let's just quickly go ahead and add a new measure on it. So for the measure now, we're going to call it variance title equals. Okay, so we'll call this a variable. We call it underscore PCT, so equals. So what we're gonna have right here, I'm thinking that is gonna be this particular one here with value, right? So once we have this now, the next thing we're gonna do right away, I'm thinking of something. Okay, we just want to use the return over here, and we use the if to actually check if underscore PCT here is greater than 0, right? Or we don't even have to complicate matters like this. Sorry for that. So let me just take this off. We can use direct if function. So if variance with value here is greater than 0, then what we want to say is just to say exceeded targets by, then you close. Otherwise, just give me missed targets by, so hit the enter key. So this will give us something that is really, gonna help us. So over here now, we can go to title, and click on this. So go variance title. Oh, what's wrong? So now we have it. We have a title. So let's check it out. If the title is okay, you can crank it up a little bit. So missed target by 18.7%. So this is actually what is really important for we to actually add. Okay, now the last part we need to actually get things done right now is gonna be on the main KPI, and that is gonna be right here. So we want to see what is the percentage of the previous month. And before we do that, let us see how we can actually add a title to it as well. It's very important. Let us see what the title will look like. So it's something very simple, not complex, but let's see how we can do that. Remember this particular month here is on selection. So whenever we select this particular month, there is a particular function that can return what is being selected, either from a slicer or from a visual. So what is that function called? I think it's called selected value. Okay, let's use it over here. Right click again, new measure. So over here right now, I'm going to just call this one title, sales title. Okay, so for the sales title here, what we're going to do now is going to be some kind of creating a variable is important. So underscore active month. So for the active month now, we use selected value as a function. Then we bring in the month. Here we go, the month like this. And once we've gotten the month, we can actually say return. Then what's going to return now is going to be if underscore active month is not. So not means less than and greater than. So we use blank. It's not blank. Then go ahead and do this. So go ahead and say active month. So whatever is selected and concatenate it with this, which is going to be total sales. Otherwise, just give me total sales. So close. And that is all we need to do to get this particular title. We are just done. So the next thing we're going to do right now, we're going to change this particular kind of card to a newer card. So click over here and let's go over here. Select this particular new version of card. Here we go. So once we have this new version of card, we have this because we're going to put in our previous month over here. So once we have this right now, we're going to go over to click over to this particular colored value. So once you are here, scroll down this particular label. So before this label can be active, for we to have something right here, we have to go all the way back up and make sure we select the sales. Now, if we come down here now, we can now see this one is active. So we can actually bring in sales. Sales title. So here we go. So we can crank it up a little bit. Okay, so we're using 17. I think it's not bad at all. Let's just go with 18, will be cool. So we're using 18. So anytime we make a change of the month here, it reflects on what we have selected, over here. So what if there is no selection at all? It's going to give us total sales. Once there is selection, it gives us the name of the month and as well total sales and all of that. So what about this? Okay, this is what we have. So if you look at it, I want to have something just like what I have right here. The reason being is that over here is not being summarized like what we have right here right now. So to get this done now, let's quickly click on the visual itself and go over to callouts. values. So you scroll all the way down until you see, let's go back up. So none. We have this. This KPI card here that shows the total sales amount is not really enough to tell the end users what is actually happening in the company. So we need to actually compare this with the previous month, which is we're going to be creating month over month change in percentage. So it's something very simple and easy, and this will definitely add more context to our KPI card. So let us see how we can actually achieve this. To get the previous month sales, which I believe is something very simple that anybody can actually create, even if you're a newbie. It's simple. Using date add or same period last month or previous month rather will do that for you. So let us call this one PM for previous month sales. So over here now, I'm going to use variable again. So for a reason, it should be something very simple. Let us do it without the variable here. So we're just going to do calculate. So sales date add. So we bring in our dates from the calendar table. So comma. So it's asking us for a number of interval -1. And again, we do this by month. So close and close for this. So this will give us the previous month sales, right? So let's go ahead and bring it here. So the previous month sales is 32,000. So we can quickly go ahead and format it. Same way. Okay, because we're using different cards, it's not going to work. So let's go ahead and do none. So now here is what we have for the previous month. So what happens if I go over to here now and I select this? So I'm going to have the same exact number back. Oh, no, sorry, not the same exact number. I'm going to have a different number. So right now, nobody can tell what month is this. And if we look at this, this can actually be maybe December. So what am I doing? I'm actually guessing. I'm not really sure where this is coming from. So what we need to do right now is this. Should we leave it? So we can leave it. We don't have to bother about this. We can actually control it when we get to the percentage calculation. But one thing is this. If I select January here, it's going to give me blank. Do you see that now? So how can we control this particular blank right here? This is where the variable actually comes in. If you don't want to create different measures, like 3 to 4 measures, just because you want to achieve one thing. So let's go back. Let's go back here again. So once we are here now, we can now store this one on a variable. So call this one variable underscore previous month, PM. So equals, let's go down here now and now do, so let's do return here. So for return, we're going to use the if function to say, okay, if selected value, so that is going to be month name here. If the month name is equals January. So that was because the reason why we have blank was because we selected January and there was no month before January. So it can return the previous month. It's giving us blank. So to take control of it right now, I'm going to say if this equals Jan. And if that is the case, give me 0. Otherwise, then go ahead and do if again, selected value, then month is equals blank. What we want to see is sales. Otherwise, give me underscore the previous month. Let us hit the enter key and see what we have. Okay, now we have 0. If I release it, I have this number. So all the months works perfectly. If there is no selection, I have this. Can you see now? I have this. It's retrieving back the same to that cell for me. Do you see what I've done here? Let me show you what I've done here. So what I've just done now is just to say, okay, you know what? Over here, I want you to actually create the sales of the previous month for me, away from what I have selected from my slicer. And under this particular part, I was like, okay, if I selected January, so it's going to give me blank. Instead of me to say blank, can you kindly give me 0? I don't want that. And check again, if the month contains blank, so maybe there is no selection, return what? Return the actual sales for me. Otherwise, if there is selection and it's not January, it's other month other than January, then give me the actual one. It's something very simple. You can just read the code and understand it. So there is no selection right now. It's returning the same value I have right here for me because I don't want to start guessing which particular value I'm seeing, right? So whenever I select January, let's see what happens. I have 0, not blank. If I now do this, I have the actual value for the previous month. So our aim now is not this particular value we have right here. Our aim is to actually create month over month change. So to create month over month change, let's do it again. So new measure here. So we're going to go over here and just call this one month over month change in percentage. So what we're going to do right now is just to say variable here. This variable we do underscore current CM for current month. So equals, that is going to be our current sales. So, and that variable again. So this is previous month. PM for previous month equals, so we start in our previous month that we've just created, or previous sales, wherever it is. Okay. The next thing we're going to do right now is just for we to say return this. So when you return this, we're going to use if to say if is blank. So what are we checking if it is blank? We are checking for previous month sales. That is underscore PM right here. If it is blank. Or the two pipes here means or. So the PM again, underscore PM is equals 0. Then go ahead and give me blank. This is error handling. Otherwise, go ahead and divide. So what we're going to do right now is just to take our current sales. So current sales subtracted from the previous sales and divide by previous sales. Then for the error handling again, we show blank for the alternate results. So we can now close this and now close our if. Then we have something like what we're going to see on our screen now. So right here we have our month over month change, and this one is going to respond to whatever we select as a percentage here. It's working so fine, right? So here's our month over month change. So let us go ahead and choose different slicer. So when we have 35, 23, that is not negative, it's positive, we want to have plus and as well an arrow. And don't forget that we're going to be creating conditional formatting. So for that, we don't have to overlay any other thing right on this one. So we want this one to be the value version of it. right? So what can we do right now? Just copy this one. Control C to copy, Control A, Control C to copy. So once you've copied it, just go ahead and do new. Then this one now will be renamed separately. So instead of us to just have percentage alone, we have formatted, right? Okay, so what do we need to do? The very first thing we need to do right now is to make sure we some kind of add plus and minus, which you already know. And aside that, we want to actually, once you have pasted this, what you need to do right now is to actually create, two variables. And those variables will be, I think over here, we have to call this one result. Not a variable, not a return any longer. So variable here underscore result. So equals. Then we can come down here now. We add to that variable. So variable here, we call it underscore. And we're going to call this one up. So what we're trying to create here is the up arrow. So if I put my equals inside double quotes now, I'm going to call this, so I'm going to just do my Windows key, full stop, and I'm going to have this up. So click on this one here and search through this to grab the up arrow and search through to grab the down arrow, which is going to be somewhere around here, right? You have the two arrows. So it depends on your Windows. So you might have something different. Just try to search for it. You have it. So once you have this now, what I'm going to do is just to Control X to call this, now close, and the variable here, underscore, this one should be down. So equals, paste, and here you go. Okay, so we have these two variables. So what if we decide to format this particular result that we have right here, right now? So which means we're going to add a new variable. So in that variable again, so we'll call this one underscore format. So we're going to use the format function. The format function here, format our results. So how do we want to format this result? I already showed you guys how to get this done. So we can do inside double quotes, plus 0.0%. And we use this semicolon. So this one should be minus 0.0%. And the semicolon again. The next one should be 0.0% alone. Then we can go ahead and close this, close the double quotes and have this closed. So once we have done this right now, the next thing we have to do is just to go down here and do return. Under return here, we're going to say if. Now, month over month change, the one that is not formatted. So if month over month, which is this one sitting outside, is actually greater than 0, then we want to actually have underscore up, which is the arrow going up. Then we concatenate that with what? Concatenate this with the, I think there'll be space. So over here, space and ampersand. So concatenate this with our formatted result. So otherwise, just give us the formatted result. So let us see this one, if it works. So now, I'm going to keep this one over here. Ctrl V to paste. So can you see this now? So the space we have might be a little bit too much. Let us try to look at how we can maintain this space. The space here. What if I close? Is it from here? I don't know. Let me just close that space. Okay, looks better. That means the second one here is not really important. So can just hit enter key. Okay, fine. This is beautiful. So can you see it now? This one actually has more, unique value than what we have right here. This one is just too basic. So you can do this. So whenever we make any changes to this right now, can you see what we have right now? So why are we not having percentage right on this one? Let us verify why that happens. So let me try something over here. I'm just going to do, I'm going to bring this particular up arrow I have here. I'm going to copy it and keep it around here. Give a space. The down arrow here should be copied. And over here, before the minus, give a space. And now what I'm going to do is, I want to use this particular up and down arrow here. Oh no. I think I'm beginning to sense what had happened. I didn't include that. So over here, I'm going to just wipe off this particular part and directly use my format on this. So let us try to look at what this will give to us. Will this work? I don't know. Oh no, it's not working. I'm so sorry. So it's not working, but we can fix what is going on here. So what I'm going to do right now is to Ctrl Z to bring it back to normal. So once we have this to normal right now, this is up arrow, concatenate, and this one should be another ampersand again. So ampersand formats, down arrow. Take off this one. Let me start all over again. It happens like this. Okay, put a comma. If the result is true, we want to get the underscore up arrow, and as well we bring in the format, comma, otherwise underscore down arrow. So concatenate, we bring in the format again. So if I hit my enter key, this should solve the problem. Okay, now it's working quite fine. Can you see it now? Okay, so right now we don't need to keep these particular ones over here. We can actually get them off. Okay, once we have done this right now, the next thing we have to do is to actually create some kind of conditional formatting for it, which is something very simple. So right click over here and just one line of code will do the magic for us. So over here, we're going to just call it on CF month over month. So here we're going to do if month over month change here is greater than 0, then give us 1, otherwise give us 0. So close and hit our enter key. So this is okay. The next thing we have to do right now is to go over here and we select the color. So rows, here we go. But I don't want to do this twice. So let us go ahead and delete this one from here. So this one here is this. So we're going to click on this one. So we go over to reference label and we want to make sure what is selected from here is sales if it's on all. So once you come to reference label here, I think, okay, it's still going to work. So if this one is on all, you wouldn't see anything right here. So make sure this one is actually sales. Once we have sales, you actually go ahead and search for this particular one and drag it in here. So you have something like this. You get it right now. So you have something like this. But this is not what we want because it has lots of text right around it. So we want to clear off this particular text we have on it. So what then can we do to actually have this particular text here cleared? So we just have to go over to, so hide, reveal it again. So click on reference label, scroll down, then the title is gone. So no title, we want something like this. The next thing we have to do is just to make sure we go down So we increase this particular one. Oh no, not this. Yeah, sure. It's working. So we increase it to about 17. 17 looks quite okay. All right, once we have done this now, we are not done yet, but right here, we're going to just look at how we can actually, use the conditional formatting right on it. So for the conditional formatting right now, we have to click over FX here, and we go over to the rules. Then we click on CF, and the CF is going to be month over month. Then once we've done that, add new rule. Then we put it on equals here. Then this one should be 0. Then this one here should be 1. And for 0, we want to choose this one. For the 1, we want to select a green color right from this area, right? So click on OK. So now we have it on red. Can you see how it is right now? This is beautiful, right? Okay. So what if you want some kind of make sure the value here is some kind of bold? You can click on the bold one. Here we go. We have this. So this is now looking perfectly okay. So what we want to actually have right now is that the previous month should be, as in we want to show what the previous month is. If the month is actually March, what is the month before March? We want to see the month before March. This can be a little bit complex, but it's something very simple. Let me show you how to do it. Let's go over here. New measure. So over here now, we're going to just call this one previous month's name equals. Okay. So what we're going to do right now is going to be a variable here. So the variable now will be underscore last month. Last month. So how can we retrieve last month? What function will do that for us? So the function is called max. You understand? Max. Max will return the highest month aside the one we actually clicked on. So the max here is looking for, sorry, the error is not a problem. I just mistakenly hit the enter key. So what the max is looking for is actually a column. So we're going to give it dates. Calendar. So let's search for date. This one here. Then we close. So once we have done this now, in a single month context, max return the last date of the month. So now we want to return the previous month, the actual previous month, and we now format it. So to get that done now, we do under variable. This one now will be called previous month date. So what we're going to do now is to use end of month. End of month. So with the end of month now, it will use this particular last month right here. So comma, we do -1, then you close. So what this will do now is to give you the last day of the previous month. So once that is done, let's go ahead and create another variable here again. So this variable now, we're going to call it results. So results. So on this variable results here, what we're going to do is to use the format function to format what? To format underscore previous month date. So how do we format it? The format should be in a shorter form, mm. Then we close. So now when we return the results. So if I hit my enter key, let us see what this will look like on a card first. So this look February. So let us go ahead and select this particular month of January. This is giving us December already, and it's not making sense, right? Don't worry, we're gonna look at how we can actually work this out. So if I select February now, it gives me January, March, February, April, March, May, gives me April. So this is my May, the current month selected. This is the previous month, which is the month that actually, find difference between these two. Okay, what can we do right now? So what we're going to do right now is just go back to the measure again. Oh no, where are we? This measure here. Now, under the results, we are going to look at this by using the if here. So now we want to check what is selected. So if the selected value, the month from my calendar, which is the slicer from here, close. So if it is equals to June, that is the only month because there is no previous month before this, then what we want to see is nothing but blank. Otherwise, if selected value month, close it, is equals blank, then what you need to do is to give me blank. Otherwise, just give me VS for versus, and now whatever the result is. So underscore results. So we close twice, we have two ifs opened. So can you see it now? Give us whatever value formatted right here. Let us hit the enter key and see what we have. So over here now, versus April. So let us see what happens if I select January here. There is nothing showing up, it's just blank. Okay. Then over here now, we're not supposed to be looking at this particular arrow down here. So what can we do? How can we solve this problem? This arrow down here is still showing up. Okay. What I'm going to do now is just trying to think outside the box. I'm thinking what we can do. We can use the if condition to actually format this. Wow. Let me go back and take a look at what I have here. So what is not showing up? Let's bring in previous month sales on the card. So previous month sales is equal 0. So we can use this now to condition it. So let us quickly go back to here. So click on this. So over here now, I'm going to say if previous month sales is equal 0, then give us blank. Otherwise, go ahead and display this. So we're going to do the same thing we have done here to this particular one here. Okay, that is all. Let us hit the enter key. We should actually have it disappeared now. I told you, now it's blank. So it's not showing up any longer. It's just for you to think outside the box and like, oh, what can I do to get this done? So once I have the actual month selected that has value, then we have this. So we're going to have to incorporate this on top of this particular one here. So how do we get this done? Okay, I think once you have this one clicked now, you go over here. So let's go now, click on the reference label, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Over here, select this particular month-over-month change formatted. Then scroll down to the detail. You have these two dashes here. Then over here now, you scroll all the way down. Then what are you going to have here? That is going to be the previous month. So you have this. You can increase the value. So there is no need to format this. It's cool like this. So once we have done this now, we can just go ahead and have those ones deleted. So in fact, this is everything we just have to create. It is time for you to start creating our KPI card. So bringing everything together to actually get what we want, created. All right, everyone, this is the best part we had all been waiting for. Right, we're going to actually bring everything together to create something that looks just like this. So we're going to be using PowerPoint to create our background, and we're going to be using bookmark to switch between month and the weekly sales right here. It's something very simple and easy. Let's get into the class and see how we can achieve this. So now, let us go to PowerPoint and create something. But before we do that, click on this particular line chart and pick up the color of our sales from here. So go to sales and go to the color, then pick up this particular color. It's very important. We need it. Okay, fine. That's going to be the lead color of our dashboard. So over here, we just have to clear off this particular part from here. Once we've done that, we just have to go over to the top ribbon and this rounded rectangle and drag it down over here and make it not too roundy. Something like this looks perfectly okay. Right click and go to format. So once you're here, turn off the outline. And now over here, you can paste in the color you've copied right here. Okay. So pasted. So here we go. We have something that looks like this. All right. So once we have gotten this now, duplicate this and let's go ahead and change this color to this particular, let's go for the gradient here. So with the gradient, I want to take off, let me just select this particular direction. I'm going to just choose this particular one here, right? So over here, I'm going to use white, normal white like this one. And on this particular one here, I want to choose this very color. Let's go with this second white color. So on this particular one, we go with this color here and we choose the same exact color. This one, no, this one here. Okay. So it's looking like this. So what I'm going to do now is to take one of these tops away. So I'm going to have something like this. If I bring it up this way. So over here, I'm going to use the same white, which is this particular one as well. So, okay. So now we have something like this. So what I'm going to do now is just for me to keep this over here. So bring this one down a little bit. Bring it down more. And have something that looks like this. So once you're cool with what you have, just go ahead and highlight both of them. So right click and save as picture. So save it anywhere you feel like. So I'm going to save mine this particular KPI card. Just write K. Okay, let's go back now here. So over here, I'm going to just click on the new page. And on this particular new page, I want to just go ahead and not import anything. So turn this one to black and do this. So once you've done that, let's go to insert now. Let's go to this particular getting something here. So once we have this, we can go over to image, resize this and fit. So we can just get something done like this. So just try to create as massive as you want. So here we go. So centralize it. It's in the middle right now. This is beautiful. So the very first thing we have to do is to go over here and bring up our two charts, Ctrl X to curve. So while we are here, we can paste them down here. And now the first thing I'm going to deal with is this particular, just make this one smaller, this particular one here. So keep this one over here. Once you have done that, resize the chart to fit what you want. Okay, so let's go over to size and style and take off this, and now you have something like this. So for the data label here, I want to go over to my data label. So once I scroll down, go to the value area. So I'm going to look for the position, data label position. I think it's going to be above here. Data label position here should be above. So now, can you see it now? It should go above. Then once you've done that, you can scroll all the way up and just down rather. So increase the size, or you can select a different font that will actually pop out very well. This looks better. So now the legend here now should be centralized. So let's go ahead and take a look at the legend. So here is the legend. What if I move the legend to the bottom? It's not bad at all. So I'm going to move it to the bottom center. So here we go. Then I can decide to increase the legend for which is the legend to track what is going on. So go to the text area here and increase the legend. So choose this font. It makes it bold. So the color for the legend now is different. This is something that is not really cool at all. So how can we solve this problem? I think we should be able to solve the problem of the color of the target method. The target method now is a different color. So let us go over here, legend. So legend, no. So now, can you see? When you turn it on, it gives you a different color. You turn it off. So now it matches this particular color and as well the sales color. Anybody who comes over here right now can tell what is actually going on right here. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this one down a little bit. So once you are cool with this now, the next thing we have to get here is this particular one. So expand it. Keep it this way. So now we just have to go over here and we'll turn this off. So it's not looking good at all, no problem. Specifically, the title here is something that is not really, giving us what we actually want. So we need to change the title, and we want to make the title to be, should we make it dynamic? No, we don't need to do that because we already have something that makes it dynamic. So all we have to do now is just to say daily sales by weekday. So let's go over to title. By weekday. Okay, so we centralize it. We increase the size a little bit. So we change the font. So let's increase to 19. Okay, so once I have this here now, the next thing I'm going to do is for me to go over to here and click on selection and as well bring my bookmark up. So I can actually click and select both of them, right click and group them. So once they are grouped, here we go. If I have this turned on now, so over here now, we can actually select add, and what is actually on here is month. Month is active, type month, then go over here, turn off data, and tell it to actually be on the selected visual alone. Then go ahead and actually click on update, right? The next thing you need to do right now is just to go ahead and turn off month and make sure what is active is actually the weekday. Add on that one, and you type in week. So we'll go over here, we click on data. So the current visual, and as well we update. So look at what happens. We can switch between them. So quickly what we need to do right now is just to go over to insert and make sure we click on this particular part where which is this part here, and we go to navigation, we go to our bookmark. So we have the bookmark here. So it's gonna be beneath here. I'm gonna work on this later, but for now, let us keep it this way right here. Okay, so this one now will help us to switch between the charts. All right, so once we have this, now the next thing we're going to do is to go all the way back to here and pick up this particular card and as well this very card. So drop it right here. Okay, so now this one now should be here. So we have to quickly go ahead and turn on this one. The value here now, we're going to make it smaller. So let's just go with 30 and see what 30 gives us. Okay, I think 30 looks okay, not bad at all. So we just have to rearrange this. So in this case, this one now should be right here. Okay, so quickly let us format this one. Over here, we just turn off the border. So we go all the way down. We open up the card. We go down. We take off the border and take off this thing. So if we click back on it again now, you can see here we have this color where we have the changes writing. So we want to turn off the color. Go over to the reference label here. Scroll down and select all. Then we can turn off the background color. So for the divider here, we make it transparency. So we don't want to show too much of the color. So we have something like this. So here we go. So once we are cool with what we have right now, I think we're good. So we can go over here and bring in the slicer itself. Oh, yeah, the slicer. So once the slicer lands here, don't sync. So we just have to go over to tile. Then I'm gonna do something like this. So it's gonna be right here, no header. Something like this here. Okay. So once we have this now, we still have more to go. So this color is not matching this one. We have to quickly go ahead and change the color for the title. The title, yeah, here we go. That is the color. So now we just have to centralize it as well. So this looks good already. So now if I select any month here, you can see the reflection. This is good already. So now we just have to click on this one, double click on it to activate this one alone. So click again. Now bring this down over here. So once we've done that, click on the week, on the month rather. So now the month has a filter affecting it. So don't worry, I'm gonna fix that. So bring this down as well. So let us click on this particular slicer here and go to format, then click on interactive. So now we'll select the month. So now it's not affecting the month again. So here we go. So go back to format again and move it. So now we go back to page 1. So we click on this one, we Ctrl C, we go over here, we click over here, and can keep this over here. Just resize this. So trying to resize this now is not really gonna make any sense because, what can we do? Okay, no issues. What we can do right now is just do some kind of click on it, and let's go over to our selection. On our selection, we have it grouped, right? So make sure the group is selected, or open up the group and hold your control key to select both of them. And now we can, oh no, it's not working, no problem. So we can adjust one. What I'm going to do now is to right click and go over to ungroup them, right? So which means I can click on any one of them now and move it. So once I actually feel like this one is well adjusted to meet up what I want, now like this. So what I'm going to do now is just to say, okay, fine, this is what I want. Then I'm going to go over to the format and click on size and style here. Then this is the height. The height is not the problem. The problem is the weight. Click on the weight here, copy it, click over here, then go to the weight of this particular one and paste the weight over here. Now we have the same size now. So I'm going to keep this over here, hold my control key to select both of them. And now we go over to format, go to align, then we align top, then center. Here we go. So now we can right click and create a new group. So we group again. So now what is happening here? If I select again now, open up this one. So have this one hidden. We only have this one up. So make sure it's selected, and let's go quickly to the reference line. Then want to make sure we change this one to a dark color. That is line. Then we want to make sure we go for the value, data label. Then we select the same color. Can you see it now? So this particular line is not showing up very well. What we can do now is to go over to the reference line again. So reference line. So we can now increase the weight. So make it transparency a little bit. I think something like this will look very perfectly okay. So now we have something like this. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is just to make sure this one is sitting rightly at the part where it should be. So, and there should be no border around it or any background color. So now, so what we want to do right now is anytime this particular color changes, we want it to actually affect this particular value as well. So what we'll do now is just to click on the card itself. So once you click over here, we are going to go over to the value area. So now any color you select here now will reflect on this one, but we want to make it dynamic. So let's click on the FX here. And now from here, we click on this particular field. So go over to this particular part and CF. The CF should actually be the target. And if we click on OK right now, it's picking the same color we have on this particular progress bar. So let us choose a different month that has positive value. Can you see it now? This is better. You see this now? So whatever you actually select from here will actually reflect what is going on here. The next thing we have to do is to actually get what color we are using here. So click outside the visuals. So let's go over to the canvas here. And over here, we want to select the color and copy the color code. It's very important. Once we've done that, click on the slicer itself. I think, yep, have this one hidden. Then once we've done that, on the slicer settings here, we want to go, for the values rather. So we scroll down, we go over to this particular part. We now select this particular color that we've copied. Yep. So once we've done that now, we want to make sure the text is not that. Yep, we want to make it bright a little bit. Yeah, something like this. So now we can go all the way up and click on this and turn off the background. So we have something like this. There is a border around it. We don't want the border to be on it. So we just have to turn off the border. So what we can do right now is just to go all the way down again. Now we have a border here. So we turn off everything we have right here. Uncheck everything. Uncheck everything. So there is no more border. So we have something like this. So it is time to work on this particular one. On this one, once you click on it, what you're going to do now is for you to some kind of go over to size and style. There is no border here or no background. So let's go to style. So at default, we just want to go over here and turn off both border and this. So now our concern now is going to be on the value area. So the value area for the default is going to be something like this. Let's go with something like this. Not too bright. So for the selected one, choose selected on the state. Then we want to put it on white, a very bright white. And we have to increase this font size to 15. So let us go for the defaults. So put its font size to 12. So now, here we go. Can you see this now? So if I hold my control key, you can actually play around with it. So now, this is what we actually have. This particular final part is not a must, but I just want to play with DAX and see how I can work with time to actually create something very dynamic. Over here, what you can say is just like a title that even greets you when you open the report. Good afternoon, good evening, or even good morning. And as well, it tells you happy weekend, like happy Friday, happy Saturday, depends on the time and the day of the week. So how can you get something like this done that even tells you that you are looking at your report based on a selected month from the slicer? So do you have the technical know-how to bring all of those particular, things together using just DAX to get it done? So let us see how we can play with DAX right here to achieve just this. It's easy, it's simple, just stick around and let me show you how to get it done. So let us create a new measure over here. So let us call this measure like greetings. So we're going to play around with code to see what we can do to actually have something like that created. So over here, I'm going to just call this one variable, and this variable should be called current date. So current date. So with the equal sign here, what we need to do is, should it be current date? Current date's time. So we can use the now function that will return. If I just go ahead and do return now, so return underscore current. So we can return this and try to look at what this will give us. This will give us the current date and time. Can you see it now? Current date and time. This is the date that I'm making this particular video right on. And this is the actual time I'm actually, recording the video. So this is what we have. So now let's go back again. We don't want to return yet. So I want to go over here. So we're going to create another variable again. So this variable should be called hour of day. So hour of day. So for the hour of day, we just use the hour function. And now we pass in the current time. So if you want to take a look at the result, always return. So if I hit my enter key right now, so this is 5 a.m. in my country. So now, would I get off? So now we take it off. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is going to be time. I'm going to call this variable time greeting. var underscore time greeting. Okay, how do we get this done? So over here, I'm going to use the switch function, switch through comma, and the hour of day here, if it is actually less than 12, in that case, we're going to say good morning. So if hour of day here is actually less than 18, then we're going to say good afternoon. Otherwise, just do good evening. Can you see it now? So what do? We'll return this to take a look at what it will give us. So I think it should be giving us good morning, if I'm not mistaken. So return here. So we have good morning, because if you check my time right now, it's 5:13 a.m. So we have good morning. So let us look at the functionality of this. If I go over here to right click and go to time task, I'm thinking of where could I adjust time over here. So go to adjust time over here. So you can change the time manually. So change the time manually. Then I'm going to choose PM and click on change. So if we go over here now, so we are still on good morning. What happens if I actually go over to here and refresh? Let us look at what is going to happen now. So this is good afternoon. That was because I manually changed my time from AM to PM. So if I go all the way back here now and do it to be more automatically, so we go back again and refresh. So this is going to capture morning again because it will be updated. Not yet. So we're still on PM. Let's do it again. So we have to go over here and manually change it from PM to AM. Change. Then we go to automatic. So let's do this again. So it has changed. You can see how it is. So it responds to whatever the time is because we have made it dynamic by just using this particular now and as well retrieving the hour. Okay, so right now we want this particular greetings to say happy Friday, happy Saturday, or like happy weekend, wherever it is. Okay, like Saturday and Sunday. How do we do that? So for now, we don't need to return. We just have to create another variable. So call this variable underscore weekday number. So like weekday num. So equals weekday. So with the weekday now, we can actually say, okay, our current time and date here. So if I put a comma right now, it's going to say return type. So I'm going to say return 1. So where 1 is Sunday and 7 is Saturday. You get the logic now. So we can go ahead and close this. Once I've done this now, so let's just go ahead and create another variable. So this variable here, let's call it day name. So with the day name here, we use the format function. The format function, we actually format the current date and time. And over here, we're going to do triple D in a shorter form. So we close this. Right? I guess you don't want to know what is this. Otherwise, you can return every single variable you're creating. So we're going to create another variable here. This variable right now should be the greeting. So it's going to actually tell what kind of greeting we should be having. So here we go. We call this underscore the greeting. Okay. So what we're going to do here now is going to be switch through, and over here we're going to just say this week num we created, if it is equals 7, then that should be on Sunday. 7 is Sunday, 1 is Saturday. So if it is equals 7, we want to say happy. I think 7 is Saturday, 1 is Sunday. So it will be happy Saturday. So if it is equals 1, then give us happy Sunday. Otherwise, just return what? Return time greeting. So which means if it is not weekend, it's not weekend, like it's not Saturday, it's not Sunday, then we want the system to say, okay, it is the weekdays. So give me these greetings. So let's see how this works. So guess what day is this? Today is Saturday. All right. So let's go over here and do return. So let us return our day greeting here. So if I hit my enter right now, we should be saying happy Saturday. All right. Can you see what I'm talking about? Okay. So let us see if what we have done is working. So we can go over here now and manually change it to see if it will work when it is dynamic. So this is 28 Saturday, 29 Sunday, and 30th should be Monday. Let us click on OK and update it. So let's see what will happen now. It will change when I refresh. So in 2 days to come, this will dynamically give us good morning on this time. But currently, if we have to go by this particular, by this particular day, 28 is actually weekend. So what we are expecting to see should, let me make it dynamic or automatic rather. So what should be seen here now should be greetings for the weekend. Updated. Happy Saturday. So this is not making any sense yet. We're just learning DAX. It does not make any damn sense. So what sense will this make if we actually combine all of this together? Okay. So we're going to make use of this to create some kind of dynamic, should I call it title? I don't know what to call it. Okay. Let's quickly go back to here now, and we don't have to return anything yet. So right now it's still going to be for we to add on that variable. So this variable right now will tell us what month is selected. So variable, this is going to be our slicer. So let us call this one selected month equals selected value. So month, we close. So now we have the year column, but we don't have the year right here. So in case we have multiple years, we want to just make sure it tells us the year we are in. So we just do variable again, underscore. I think this one should be selected year equals selected value, the year from our calendar, we close. Okay, now we have to do what we call label. We're going to do our month label right now. So we create another variable here again. We call it underscore month label. So when we get here right now, what are we going to do? We're going to try to concatenate the month and the year together. So let's find out how. So over here now, we're going to use the if function. So not is blank to check if something is blank or not. Is blank. Then that is gonna be selected underscore selected month. So if the selected month is not blank, so we close and we use and. So not again is blank. So this time around, we're going to check the year underscore selected year. Then we close for not as well. So put a comma right in it. If that is the case, we want to actually see selected month, and we concatenate it with underscore selected year over here. Otherwise, just give us selected month name. So just do a selected month, then go ahead and close. So I always love to return quickly to see what it will look like. So return here. So we're going to return now month label. Okay. So now this is May 2025. So it depends on what we have selected from here. This is July, September, October, so December. Can you see it now? So we're going to actually start to get the actual title or whatever you want to call it, we want to get now. Let's do it. Okay, so now we are going to return properly. Return, which is on our final DAX now. So over here, we're going to use the if function to check if there is a selection or not. Not. So our month label, which is this particular one here. If the checking has been done, then go ahead and just give me day greeting and concatenate that with what? With here is year. So space now and %, here. So now the month underscore month label here, right? Concatenate again. So otherwise, go ahead and just give me the greeting and So day name. So it's going to be a question, right? So we just have to say over here a question mark. Over here an exclamation mark here. So let us hit the enter key and see what we're going to have. So here we go. We have this. So we can just go over here, turn off the label. Let's go with 25. Oh, 25 is too much. Let's go with 16. And now we're going to choose the fonts, this one, comic. Over here, we turn off this, and then we have something that looks like this. So we change it to white. So, happy Sunday, here is your September 2025 performance at a glance. So if I select this particular one right now, it's changing based on what is on actually on selection, right? Once you are done, you can publish your work to the cloud. So just click on save. So we have to save this first.